Okay, so this is going to be a part two. This is more or less about along the lines of what to do with wiring and how to make connectors. So this is, I need to make a connector to go to this. The original, well, the harness that I bought off of eBay is for a bullet connector, which the later style takes a bullet, but this one does not. So here's what I'm going to do. These are not really the correct Mopar connectors, but they work. So I recommend that if you replace any wiring in your car, which I'd recommend that if your wiring looks like this, that you do. But don't throw it away, because you can salvage a lot of these plastic connectors that are hard to find or are expensive if you do find them. This here I got off of Amazon. It was real cheap, probably $5. This helps to remove all these connectors, because there's, focus, see that little tab right there? You have to depress that in order to get it out. Let's see, I had the, here we go. Here's the plastic pieces that I salvaged off of my harness. Now this one here, they both would work, but this one here is kind of tape, well, not really tapered, but it has, wish this would focus. There we go. Now when I go to stick it in, here, of course it's not going to stay because the connector is not in it, but you can see there's space on the sides. I don't really want to use that type, because I'd rather have it, not that there's going to be any water in the trunk, but I'd rather have a better seal. This one here is just a regular rectangle, and so they're both female connectors, obviously. So and then this is what an original Mopar connector looks like. Okay, and it's got that tab there. Now the difference here, this is from Napa. It's tinned, so it shouldn't corrode like the regular brass ones. It'll focus, but it's obviously a different design, but it will work. Matter of fact, it's kind of, once it's in there, it's kind of hard to remove. So in order to properly crimp this onto the wire, you got to have a crimping tool. This is the one I bought off of Amazon. It comes with several different dies, and it'll tell you which ones they work for. This die in here, focus, is the one I've been using for these connectors. So let me get it set up. First I'm going to have to cut off that bullet connector off of the harness, and then I'm going to get it set up, and then, well, it just doesn't want to focus, and then I'll show you how to crimp it. And see, this harness came with this kind of connector, but I don't know, I think I'm going to use this square. Okay, so what I need to do is cut this end off. This is going to be hard to do one-handed. Positioned here. Let me get it positioned. Nothing is more disheartening than having to cut up a brand new, perfectly good wiring harness that you just bought for $60. But that's how it goes. So now I need to strip that end off, and in order to know how much you strip, just look at this original connector, and technically that's not right. This does not want to focus with the crap. So basically this first right here, this first set right here is supposed to crimp the sheath of the wire, the insulator of the wire, and then the second one is supposed to crimp the wire. So obviously, and you can see this one's been taped and butchered. So but I don't have any other right off the bat to show. I don't think. I just removed 2 connectors, but anyway, that's the proper way to crimp these wires. I'm gonna get it set up and I'll show you. And it might be a blooper. I might screw it up the first time, but usually you just strip about 1/8 of an inch off the wire, just like so. So that way it'll crimp around the insulation, and then it'll crimp around the wire. You don't want it I believe it's this backlight that's causing this blurriness. So basically, you don't want it too far in to where it's protruding into the actual connection part. But you want enough to fill this cavity here where it's going to crimp. Okay, I'm going to set it up and then I'm going to show you the crimp itself. Okay, get it in the tool like so. The tool will hold it. It's actually ratchets. And then you insert the wire, and then you I'll be right back. As I said, this is not an easy task to do one-handed. So I got it partially in there so it won't fall out. So then you just squeeze it and then let it loose, and see how it'll crimp around that wire. Then it's supposed to crimp around the insulation. So I might not have had it in the right spot. See, there's 3 different spots here. Actually, I think I had it in there backwards. Yes, I did. Like I said, bloopers. So this is going to be hard because you turn the flash off there. Maybe that's better. Turn the flash off on my phone. Now I can get it to focus. So now it should come out. Now you just push down on that lever and it releases. There we go. Not a perfect crimp because I screwed it up, but definitely better than what you're gonna be able to do with any of this crap. Now if I would have got it right the first time, it would have been a perfect crimp. This is definitely acceptable. This will not come apart. I could pull on it, and that's one thing you want to do is test it. You want to pull on it and make sure that it doesn't slip out. I'm not going to be able to do that and hold the camera at the same time, but you get the idea. And you just take your plastic connector and see how it's got that notch in there. You just slide that notch over this side, and then this will lock itself. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm not going to be able to do it one-handed, but you get the idea. It'll actually make a clicking sound, a click sound when it, or a snap when it gets all the way in there. And that's when you know that it's completely, when it's completely inserted into the connector. And there should be no bare wire showing. And it's actually recessed in there. Excuse me. So that's how you reproduce a connection and make it look original. Now this deal here is rather expensive. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I want to say it's $100 or more. Might be a $150. I can't remember. Just Google that or look it up on Amazon, and you'll find out for yourself. So now the next thing to do is install this, and I'll make another video once it's installed and operating.